Why USA and why not India?
I also had a IITian dream back then, but I wasn't so successful getting into IIT.
What was the total course that you paid to come here? Was it like masters that you have paid like 25 lakhs or 30 lakhs, or was it less than that? You have done your BTech from India, and you are pursuing your PhD from here. What are the differences that they might have some issues, like they can be very strict and they can exploit you in many ways, but I haven't seen that in here. And did you do any GRE exam? Was it required? There are some students who come here for masters. Do you think it is a bad idea to come here for masters? In USA there are so many industries that are in like small towns or in small areas. It's not like India that there are some hubs, that there are very particular cities where you can find a job regarding your niche. So for example, in India you can go to Bangalore or Mumbai or like in Delhi or Gurgaon, so these kind. But in US you can find the companies in which you would like to work in a very remote places, and in like every state and in every place. Can one get these kind of internships?
My summer internship, they had just general applications that they have on their website, so I directly applied from their website, and I was lucky to get
Can give
selected.
some advice to those students, because in India there are so many students who are doing their BTech in a very local colleges where they do not have much opportunities, or where they do not do some projects that are very exciting, or even in some colleges they do not have these thesis based projects that they can submit. So basically they don't have any research experience. If we see that, they just have a CGPA that they can show. So what are your suggestions to them, that how they can get those kind of research experiences, how they can contact the professors, and how they can convince them that okay, I want to do a internship in your lab?
So
Mic testing, 1 2 3 1 2 3. Starting our first podcast.
podcast run.
Okay. Hi guys, I'm Nikita and she is
Anushka Patil.
okay, and हम roommates नहीं, apartment mates नहीं, क्या है, हम flatmates हैं. Okay. तो अभी इसने अपनी PhD स्टार्ट करी है, एंड डायरेक्ट PhD राइट?
Yes.
इसने BTech करी है एंड देन अभी इसने PhD स्टार्ट करी है. तो अभी ये अपने बारे में कुछ बताएगी, एंड let's hear from her.
Okay, thank you so much, Nikita, for inviting me to your podcast. Okay, so I am Anushka Patil, and I've come here to pursue my PhD in biological sciences. So I'll be working on a Parkinson's model using Drosophila, or what you call as fruit flies, as my model organism. So I've come all the way from Mumbai after my bachelor's. So my bachelor's was in biotechnology. So I've done my BTech degree, that is engineering degree in biotechnology, from DY Patil University, which is in Navi Mumbai. So I've just graduated in the month of June this year, and I've come all the way from Mumbai to Lubbock to pursue my PhD. So I've come here on 1st August, and my classes have already been started since yesterday. So yeah.
थैंक यू सो मच अनुष्का. एंड ये पॉडकास्ट वैसे चालू हो ही गया है, तो मैं पहले ही बता दूं, हमारे पास एक ही माइक है, तो उसी से हम काम चला रहे हैं. तो लाइक करोगे, सब्सक्राइब करोगे, हमारी थोड़ी रीच बढ़ेगी, तब हम जाके कोई अच्छा सा माइक्रोफोन ले पाएंगे.
Yeah, I have already subscribed to her channel. So I just request you all to please do that as soon as possible. Yeah, thank you.
थैंक यू अनुष्का. चलो अब हम स्टार्ट करते हैं. तो तुमने मुझे बोला कि फ्रूट फ्लाइज, वही ना जो मक्खियाँ आती हैं घर में, वही से?
You are correct.
ओके. अभी मेरे को ना एक क्वेश्चन है, तुमने यूएसए ही क्यों चुना? मतलब तुम इंडिया में भी कर सकती थी. इंडिया में भी डायरेक्ट होती है PhD. व्हाई यूएसए एंड व्हाई नॉट इंडिया?
Okay. So the first major reason was to get global exposure that you don't get in India, and I think in India we are supposed to give entrance exams in order to get into PhDs, and it is generally difficult to get into PhDs directly after BTech in India as compared to America. So yeah, that was one of the reasons, and the advanced technology or the advanced lab equipments that we use here, which are, I mean, there's a big difference what we do in India and in labs here. Also, the research, it takes lesser time in India, lesser time in America, obviously, than in India. So these are some of the advantages, and
No,
it
but I want to
yeah.
say something. तुमने बोला कि the in USA you take less time to complete the research as compared to India.
Yeah, generally.
Yeah, but here I have also seen that some PhD students complete their PhD in like 6 years or some in like 7 years. So it basically depends on your your research.
Right. It also depends on your supervisor, or maybe majorly depends on your project, that what type of research you're doing. Is it a novel research, or is it like which has been already been carried out? So it also depends on your project type, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, true. So you have done your BTech from India and you are pursuing your PhD from here.
Yeah.
What are the differences that you have felt in kind of education or in the way of teaching or in the way the lab works here? Because you have also done some research experience in India as well. So what is the difference between USA and India that you have observed? I know you have just come here, so whatever you have observed.
So there's not, like, as such, there is not a big difference. I think here you get to meet like various type of people. Like, you get a global exposure, and you know how they were supposed to work in their country. You learn something new from them, and maybe there are some differences in the protocols that they must have followed back in their country. So I think these small things, they contribute majorly to the way the research is carried out here in America. And also regarding PIs, I think here the advisors are more chill than what the advisors are back in India, because even if your advisor is Indian here, I think they are pretty chill with their students, and it is more of like a fun environment in which you learn, as well as you are supposed to do it in a fun way. So I think you don't have a much pressure what the PhD students have back in India. So that is a major difference.
Okay, so you told me that the Indian professors here are very chill as compared to Indian professors back in India. But I have a question regarding that. When I was supposed to come here, there were some family members who just directed me and who guided me that please do not have an Indian supervisor because they might have some issues. Like they can be very strict and they can exploit you in many ways. But I haven't seen that in here. And you have an Indian supervisor, right?
So yeah, I'm
So have you met him or her? Like
actually, he is not currently here. He's on a vacation in India, so he'll be back soon. I haven't seen him or interacted with him in person, but I soon hope to. So, but whenever I've interacted him via Zoom or through like virtually, he has been pretty chill with me, and he has not pressurized me in any manner. At least till now, I don't know what might be in future, but yeah. Also, I think it depends on person to person, rather than being stereotyping if he's an Indian professor or a Chinese professor.
that is true. So I have done research in Indian professor's lab in my project, and I had a very great experience with him. I have never had these kind of experiences that I have heard before coming here. So yeah, you are right about that. Now you are here for your direct PhD, but you have done your BTech in biotechnology and you are doing your PhD in biological sciences. Did you do any GRE exam? Was it required or not?
Okay. So I have not taken my GRE exam because for pure sciences it is generally not required in America. Like if you consider most of the mediocre universities, GRE is not required if you're coming here for biological sciences or chemistry or like basically pure sciences. But if you're coming here to pursue a engineering graduate course, so I think that is like GRE is required for it. So I did not give my GRE exam. I had just taken my IELTS exam to come here. Yeah.
Okay, so another question is why didn't you choose to do a master's? Why you choose to do a PhD here? And there are some students who come here for masters. Do you think it is a bad idea to come here for masters instead? Like, I don't know. Is it a bad idea? So, what are your thoughts on it?
So to answer your first question, that why I've come here directly for my PhD. So eventually, I just want to be a researcher. So the basic criteria or qualifications required to become a scientist or an individual researcher, that is, you should have a PhD degree. And I think I was lucky enough to get directly into my PhD rather than completing my master's first and then do my PhD further. So yeah, eventually, even if I had chosen to do my master's degree, I would have ended up pursuing PhD further. So this saved a lot of time of mine. And what was your second question? Yeah, regarding masters, I think if you're from a decent, family background who has enough financial, arrangements, if you come from a good financial condition background, it is not so difficult to get here for masters. And if your vision is to pursue or do a job rather than get into research, I think master's degree is a good idea. I mean, it is a good option, and specifically in American universities where you get a global exposure and you get to interact and collaborate with, different people, different professors and scientists. So I think it is never a bad idea to pursue your master's degree if your vision is clear that you want to do your job or like directly after your master's. So yeah.
Okay. I want to add something in it because I have seen there are so many programs, even in my department, it is the same. That if you come for a PhD and you spend 2 years into your PhD, there is a research exam and you qualify it, then you have an option whether you want to continue your PhD or you just want to drop out with your masters. And I mean, I personally feel that if someone is considering to do a master's, then they should come here for a PhD and get it done with in 2 years. Don't like waste your money.
Yeah, I agree with her. So here in American universities, so you have an option that you if you don't wanna feel that you're not going to pursue a PhD after your master, so you can directly get your master's degree after completing 2 years, and you're good to go. So this is a good idea to get into masters for free, but I think PhD is a long commitment that you have to consider. So once you get into PhD, I think one should complete it and yeah, come with the degree.
Okay, very well. So my another question would be like what kind of job opportunities you can get here in comparison to India if you had done your PhD back in India, like in job prospects I'm asking. So
Okay, so as far as I know, after completing your PhD, be it in India or here in America, uh, there are various options like you can do your postdoc or maybe for 2 or 3 years, and then if you want to get into some industries, you can work there as a legit scientist. So you can also be a scientific officer, or if you want to be in academia, so you can always try to be a professor if you have good research publication articles. But yeah, I mean, if you want a whole like proper full-time job, it is always a good option to be a scientist. So you also get to work independently on a project in a whole new company, and yeah, you get to learn many new things.
Okay, so suppose you got your PhD and you are looking for a job, and you have this like, okay, you have got a job in US as well, and you also have a job that is in India.
Okay.
Which one would you choose? Like, I know you are from Mumbai, and there are so many industries out there. So, what would be your preference based on the salary, the location, or the amount of opportunities you can get at some place? So, which would you choose?
Okay, that's not a difficult question to answer. But considering all of the major expenses that I have in India as well as here in America, if the job is like high paying, so I'll obviously choose the job here in America rather than in India. But there can be a possibility that there are two projects. For example, if I'll enjoy doing the project which is offered to me in India, I'll surely opt for that. So it can depend upon the project that I'm working on, or the company, or the role that I've been offered, and considering all of the expenses that I have, including my housing and basic groceries and all, maybe I'll decide that time what to do, what to not.
Okay, I want to add one thing and ask another question regarding to that only. So recently I was looking something, and I on YouTube only searching about the masters in biotech, and searching the job prospects for this podcast. So there was one person who was telling like, and I also agree with her, that in USA there are so many industries that are in like small towns or in small areas. It's not like India that there are some hubs, that there are very particular cities where you can find a job regarding your niche. So for example, in India you can go to Bangalore or Mumbai, or like in Delhi or Gurgaon, so these kind. But in US you can find the companies in which you would like to work in a very remote places, and in like every state and in every place. So do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, it after all depends on the company type, and I think here in US, so where we both live, so we live in Lubbock. So this city is pretty quiet. It's not happening. But if like I get a good opportunity here to work in some great company which has, which is a multinational company maybe, so I would definitely consider it, even if I get a below average company in New York. So I would definitely consider this as my option. So yeah.
Okay, very well. So my another question would be like, if we compare between students that are doing PhD in biotech in India versus USA, and what are the benefits and shortcomings one can face in both countries, and what are your take on it? What are your opinions?
Okay. So yeah, as I told earlier that I'm doing my PhD in biological sciences.
Yes.
Yeah. So the major thing is back in India, there is a less funding for research, especially for biological sciences. So here, but here in the US, you have like hefty amounts of money invested for research. So also in America, you can see great scientists being graduated in short time. Like we also have some of these students that have completed their PhDs in 4 years. And where I was working as a intern back in India, there people used to take 8 years or 9 years to complete their PhD because of lack of funding. And some of the major reasons were they used to order some of the equipments, or the maybe the antibodies or anything that you need to carry out an experiment. And after ordering, it used to arrive after a period of 6 months or maybe 7 months. So that is a very I mean bad thing to happen. But here it is, I don't think that is a problem due to like we have a very good amount of funding. So yeah.
Yeah, you are right about that. I also want to add one thing because in India, suppose you did your BTech in India and you were working in biotech, it would have been a great if you had opportunity where you can go into biotech industries and do a research internship there,
Right.
which could be a part of a curriculum or a course. That would have been great for the
Exactly. Yeah, I
experience and
agree.
everything. Okay, you were talking about your research experience. So, how much, like, what time period was your research experience? Was it after your BTech or during your BTech? And was it necessary for your university that you should have a research experience in order to graduate, or it was just a volunteer thing for you? And I also want to ask, was it in a university setting or in an industry setting? So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so while I was doing my bachelor's, like my BTech in from DY Patil University, so just after my sixth semester, that was after my third year, I had a great opportunity to do a summer internship, which was not mandatory from my university. Like it wasn't required, like a student should do a summer internship, but it was out of my like I was interested to do a fully functional research project if I get a chance. So I had applied to various universities for summer internships, including some of the government institutes as well as some of the private institutes. So I did my summer internship after my sixth semester. So it was for duration of 2 months, and same I had worked on Drosophila. So what I'm pursuing here. Yeah, so that I had done, and then so we have a final year project which is mandatory for engineering students to carry out in order to complete your engineering degree. So I had worked on a cancer research project from Tata Memorial, which is in Navi Mumbai. So I had worked there on cancer research project for like a time of 6 months. So in total, I have a research experience of 8 months, including my summer internship as well as my final year project. So yeah.
So you did your summer internship in Tata Research Center, right? Or was it different?
Yeah, it was. So I did my summer research internship from ISER, that is Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research. So it is in Bhopal. So I had stayed there for 2 months in campus.
And now another question is regarding your internship only. So how did you find the professors with which you wanted to work, and how did you contacted them? Or it was some application based thing? There were some positions open. Like how can one get these kind of internships?
Okay. So talking about my summer internship, they had just general applications that they have on their website. So I directly applied from their website, and I was lucky to get selected. But talking about the final year project that I did in Tata Memorial, so I had to email professors or the scientists that were, doing projects there. So I had contacted two of the professors from Tata Memorial, and they replied me saying that I would like to interview you before I take in. So I had gone there for interview. So the interview, you can't even imagine, it lasted for around, it had started at 9 a.m. I'm sorry, it started at around 10 a.m. and it was going on till 5 p.m. So everyone, yeah, so everyone in the lab, including all of the PhD students and the postdocs and like all of them who all were working in the lab, they had interviewed me. But it was a pretty chill, nothing to worry about, because they just ask you fundamental questions if you're aware with the basics of biological sciences. So yeah.
Okay, now you have done your BTech. Um, were you interested in JEE mains, JEE advanced? Have you taken any coaching? Because I want to ask, there are some students who just keep preparing for these exams, and these are very competitive exams, and they just lose their hope if they don't get selected in IITs. What I mean, I want to let them know that the life doesn't end there. There are so many other opportunities that you can get, because I have also seen so many IITians that are here, that are pursuing their PhD. You are not a IITian, I'm not a IITian, and we are at the same institute here doing PhD. Like, there is nothing, there's no difference between us.
Yeah. So I also had a IITian dream back then, but I wasn't so successful getting into IIT. So I had prepared for JEE mains, but somehow I wasn't qualified. So I did not even appear for my JEE advanced. And but I had also taken my CET exams, which is at state levels. So I had did I had done better. I had performed better in CET exam, but the thing was, there was only one biotechnology college focusing on the engineering aspect in Mumbai. So I had to go to a private deemed university rather than a government college. So giving CET exams was of no use to me. And but the thing is, many of my IITian friends, I think we don't make a huge difference, because in the end I am here in USA pursuing my PhD without my master's. So it all depends on your vision that you have, and it's not like that you have to get into good colleges. I mean, it is not something bad. Obviously, it is a good thing, but you should not be demotivated if you don't end up getting into IITs or NITs. So yeah, after all, it's about your goals, long term goals, and how are you focusing on that, and are you doing any hard work or not. So yeah.
Yeah, that is true. So my another question would be regarding your profile. So did you had any publications before joining your PhD, or was it just your research experience? Because you have done like two internships, right? So was it just that? And do you think that these internships are very much compulsory to get a PhD?
Yeah, to answer your first question, I did not have any publications because I'm just an undergrad student. So, but I had a good amount of research experience that I had mentioned, and I think that is more than enough. I mean, the professors just look on whether you have a good research experience. They might not even consider your CGPA, but it should not be too low. I mean, if you have a decent CGPA of around 8, then I think it should be fine. And yeah, that's what I think. Professors just consider your overall profile rather than just focusing on your publications or your research articles. I mean, that is a plus point if you have it, but I did not have, and I just had a good amount of research experience with a decent CGPA. So, yeah.
Okay. So, I also wanted to ask if you can give some advice to those students, because in India there are so many students who are doing their BTech in a very local colleges where they do not have much opportunities, or where they do not do some projects that are very exciting, or in even in some colleges they do not have these thesis based projects that they can submit. So basically they don't have any research experience. If we see that they just have a CGPA that they can show. So what are your suggestions to them, that how they can get those kind of research experiences, how they can contact the professors, and how they can convince them that okay, I want to do a internship in your lab?
Okay. So, one of the best things I would tell is while you're pursuing your bachelor's, even if you are in a local college from a small village or maybe a town, you can, check for some of the summer internship opportunities that gets posted on various websites of IITs or ISers or maybe some other institutes. You can just Google. Nowadays we can Google everything and you can get access to everything from wherever you want. So there are many applications that open up in the month of January, I think December or January, for summer internships beginning from the month of May. So as soon as you're done with your sixth semester, you can start doing the summer internship project, which lasts for 2 months. So there are various ways. One of the ways that I've mentioned you before, that was the generalized applications that you can get on their websites, or the other way is you can email the professors. So basically you can go to university's website, and in the faculty section you can search for the list of professors and you can read more about their research. And the first thing that you should do while you're in your bachelor's is to identify your research interest, like in what specific domain are you interested to work in future. So I think you should do that first, and then you can search for professors who are already working in that field, and maybe you can send them emails asking for some internship opportunities while in maybe in summer or winter or whenever you're free. So you can email them telling that you're really interested and you have read his or her research papers and you would like to work with him. And yeah, so different universities have different selection procedures, so you'll have to go through that. And if you really want to pursue a direct PhD, you should have a research experience, like irrespective of whether your college requires it or not, but I would suggest to get a research experience. And talking about final year projects, I think many of the engineering colleges do have it, and if you don't, you can also do part-time projects. Maybe in your colleges you can approach your professors and ask them if they can help you out, or maybe you can work on their project. So
Okay, so now that you are here, and can you tell us like what was the total cost that you paid to come here? Was it like masters that you have paid like 25 lakhs or 30 lakhs, or was it less than that?
okay. So starting from my exams that I have appeared for, so I had taken my IELTS exam, which costed me 16,500. Then after my IELTS exam, okay, so after my IELTS exam, I was supposed to apply to the university. So per application, but it depends on the university. Generally, they have a charge of around $70 to $80. So maybe you can consider 6,000 to 8,000 rupees approximately. Then for visa and service fee, you require an approximate amount of maybe 40,000. I'm not sure, but it should be around 40,000. Yeah, so after I was done with my visa, I had to book my air tickets. So it costed me around 85,000. So that was my air ticket from Mumbai to here in Lubbock. And then as soon as I landed here, I need money for the initial months before I get my stipend. So I have to pay a rent of $450 per month. So it should be around 40,000 if you convert it to INR. And so you have to arrange that funds for at least 3 months before you get your first salary. So here in Texas Tech, we get our first salary in the month of October for fall students. So August, September, and October. So you should have 3 months of funds with you. And then talking about basic groceries, so groceries can cost you depending upon the state that you're living in. So here you can like for Texas, I'll have to say the groceries will cost you around 200 to $250 per month. So accordingly, you can calculate all of the cost. And yeah, thank you.
Okay, so when I was talking to you, you told me that you already had a bank account here in US from India. You haven't opened any account here yet. So how can one do that? Because there are so many students who don't know it yet. I'm one of them. I didn't know it.
Actually, it was something which was suggested to me by my father. So there's a company called Zolve, Zolve. I think it is a third party company which has its tie-ups in American, banks and all. So I have got my bank account opened at zero cost. Like I didn't have to pay anything for opening it, and I even also have my credit card and debit card without any SSN number from them. You just need to show your basic documents like your I-20 or your visa and passport, also your offer letter, and then they open a bank account for you. So you can always try to get your account from Zolve. Maybe she can mention the link in the description. I'll give it to her later. So yeah.
Okay, they had contacted me before for promotion and collaboration, but I can't do that. So I have.
Okay.
Okay, we are not promoting anything, but that is very helpful. So, okay, I forgot the question that I was going to ask you. I had a question.
Okay. Take your time.
One eternity later. हे राम, भूल गई मैं क्या पूछने वाली थी.
मेरा आवाज बंद कर दी है. मेरे आवाज को क्या हो गया है? मेरी गाड़ी फट गई.
I was going to ask you that when you applied in universities, you have to pay application fee, right?
Yes.
So how did you pay? Because I got so many emails and so many comments that do we have to pay it for with a debit card or a credit card, or is there any way that because there are so many people who don't have a credit card
Right.
in India, so how they can manage, if you have any answer to that?
Okay, so I had paid via my credit cards that was of my father, obviously. So, like, if you have to pay anything, like any amount to the university, you just have limited options. That is of debit cards, credit cards, or they have PayPal system, I think, but I'm not sure how to use it. You'll have to check that. But the major options that you have is of credit and debit cards, and if you don't have one,
With debit card, because it is difficult to pay with debit card. I also have paid with credit card. I haven't
okay. I
got it.
think, yeah, I think what all major like students do is they forgot to enable their international payments transaction. So you should always check it in your local app or the bank's app that you have, and you should always enable those international transaction payments. So when you enable it, then only you are able to pay the amount via debit or credit cards.
The option in debit card also, because I know
Yeah,
there's the
it's
option in
it's
credit card.
no, it is also in debit cards. So even if you don't have it, you can ask for your friends credit cards, and maybe you can give them cash and they can pay for you. So many of my friends have done that. So yeah.
Okay, so I think I'm done with all the questions. So let's stop our podcast here. And if you have any questions that you want to ask Anushka or me, so you can just type that in comment section, and I'll try to answer all those of your comments. So yeah, just share this podcast.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nikita, for inviting me to your exceptional podcast series. And I just wish her all the best because I can see that she's trying a lot. She's trying to manage her YouTube channel with her PhD studies, and we have a lot of things to do here, but it's just commendable. So I just request you all to subscribe to her channel and yeah, show some love. Yeah, that's it. Have a good day.
Still लोग सब्सक्राइब नहीं करते हैं और लाइक नहीं करते हैं. ओके चलो बाय बाय.